Happy 4th of July. What is it, the 250th birthday of the United States? Or something? 251st? Shoot, I don't know. Let me set the timer for 15 minutes. Let's talk about some stuff for 15 minutes. All right. Court is now in session, and I have this little red finger. See if I angle it just right, it looks like it's my actual hand. Pretty cool, right? It's like when I hold it out like this, it looks like it's a big hand, but if you see, it's really just a little bitty hand. See, in proportion to my hand and it's real small. But it's all about perception. I get it like that and it looks real big, doesn't it? It's like crazy. Take it away from pointing it at you, point it at myself. It's a lot smaller. Anyways, so I didn't set the clock. Start. 15 minutes. All right. All sweaty armpits. Smell that? Yeah, that's the smell of a good workout, baby. Victory. That's the NWA workout style there. That was like 18 minutes, 32 seconds from the horse barn trailhead, the little park there, up to this apartment here at Walton Crossings. Pretty good for a 52-year-old who's partied most of his life off, smoked 33 years of cigarettes, over 20 years of hardcore alcoholism, 13 years of intravenous, not too shabby health, huh? Well, I mean, it's not perfect. I mean, I definitely got some scars and dent and dangs, but I am undefeated. Absolutely. I am none of those things anymore. I am not an alcoholic. I am not an addict. I am not a junkie. I am not a loser. I am none of those anymore. I used to be a cigarette addict that couldn't figure out how to stop smoking every fucking day for 33 years in a row. I'm not that anymore. Once I figured out how my brain works, what kind of programs you put in there, in that head, like that. This is the most completely sweaty shirt. That's when you got a good workout, you know? You know, it seems like America has got more and more Hoovervilles. What's a Hooverville? Well, for most of us younger people, we don't know what Hoovervilles are. Well, Hooverville was back in like when Hoover was president, coming out of the Depression. Depression is what they were calling it. That was towards the end of the Dust Bowl up through the Midwest, where it like turned into like desert, and there was a drought, food shortage, freaking economy dropping out. Something or another. A lot of people homeless. We got that going on now. We got all these tent cities in our cities, and even here it's like where I'm living right here. It's a very rich area. This whole area is just made out of fucking diamonds and golds. I'm talking even the sidewalks, everything. I mean, this is just super rich right here. I mean, there's old money, new money, you name it. It's all here, right here. right here in Northwest Arkansas. But even in here, we got these homeless people. Homeless, helpless. Are they helpless or homeless? Are they homeless and helpless? Well, some of them are. And some of them are on a journey. See, there's a couple of there's basically two kinds of homeless people that I've seen. And yes, I've been one of those homeless people. There was 3 years of my life I didn't work a lick. I did not do nothing. I come to the point of hopelessness. I lived up here and there, staying here and there, living up and down the creek banks, living in tents. Shit, I think it was 1999, 2000, 2001, 2003. There was a couple summers there. Shit, I go all summer. Didn't even change clothes, nor have baths. Just drunk and high all the time. I know you're thinking sick, right? And the answer to that is, yeah, it is. But you know, when a person gets to that place, that state of mind, where they're sick and tired of living the life they're living, and they know it ain't working, and it's like they got to do something, so they turn to getting high and drunk all the time. So what is it, that thing? It's like, well, it could be several things. It could be genetics. It could be poor health. It could be family problems. It could be trauma, so-called depression. All those things. Well, it's all stemmed out of the mind, stemmed out of the heart. I mean, and believe it or not, yeah, we inherit some crap from the previous generation. Previous generation was traumatized a certain way or something, and they never got it resolved and healed or whatever, or got it transmuted into something meaningful. It probably got transferred to you. Crazy thing is those are the things that ding around in the subconscious. Subconscious is below the conscious level. Conscious, below conscious, subconscious. Sub means it's below. That means we're not aware of it. We're not conscious of it. See, that's what's freaking mind-blowing. It's like we think we got free will. You think so? Really? Yeah, free will. I'll tell you what free will is. Free will is the sum total of all your subconscious beliefs and your subconscious criteria that's been added up throughout your life, all the way from your childhood, and even before you were born. It stemmed off of your parents and even your parents' parents. That stuff goes into your subconscious hardware during what they call the dream state, or the theta state of development of the mind growing of a child when they're like 2 years old, from a little toddler, puppy, up to about 7, 8, 9 years old, somewhere in a little bit less than that first decade of life. All that stuff gets compiled into their brain, into their subconscious, below conscious level, of what they can have, what they can't have, what they can be, and what they can't be. And that subconscious criteria, it just gets locked and loaded like that. And it's stuck like that. It's stuck in its ways. And it prompts like 97% of a person's conscious choices, decisions. So, if we got free will, if we really are about this freedom thing, then how is that freedom? Especially if those things in your subconscious are things that are working against you, like some kind of post-traumatic stress disorder, like if it's stuck on survival mode. That's where a lot of people are, stuck on survival mode, and it's stressful. And when the subconscious is constantly prompting the person to be like on high alert all the damn time, and they don't even know it because they grew up that way and they're stuck that way, it's hard on the heart. It's hard on the body. It's hard on the mind. It's hard on the emotions. It's like living life, trying to push the gas pedal down and pushing the brake at the same time. It is really hard on the motor. Stressful is what it is. That's what a lot of people do. That's what a lot of us are. So, anyways, having said that, it's like, well, whoop-de-doo. I mean, I'm all right. It's like, well, are you? Are you really all right? Are you just living life, not bothering nobody, not messing with nothing? You just pay your bills, you work, and you go home, and nothing else. Is that what we're supposed to do? I mean, as a person of this country, we all have a responsibility to what's our constitutional rights. It's like our forefathers did set some things up that were really great, even though I do believe our country was built on a toxic relationship after the Civil War, and it's still toxic. But the principles, the Declaration of Independence, and what was it, those 99 articles or whatever about King Louis and stuff like that, and how to identify a tyrant in our government, or even in ourselves, or even in our society, and our constitutional rights. Well, I think one of our most valuable constitutional rights is the right to bear arms. And why would I say something like that? Well, because when you have a peoples that are well armed, and their judicial system and their police that back them up are also well armed, and their militaries that are well armed, guess what? That's a nation that is well armed. And you know what? The more people do this, the less thievery there is, the less any of us act a fool. It's like us keeping accountable to each other, to ourselves, for ourselves, with ourselves, about ourselves, amongst ourselves. That's what it is, the right to bear arms. It's to keep any of us from acting a fool. It's to keep me from acting a fool. It's to keep you from acting a fool. It's to keep the government from acting a fool. Or any outside countries or whatever that would think they would want to come in here and act a fool. Each state it's just thousands of little micro laws and laws about this and laws about that. But when it comes down to it, every red-blooded American, whether white or black or Native American or whatever, or Chinese, is because we got all Americans are every tribe and nation of the entire world. That's what we are. But every one of us, every red-blooded American that was born on American soil, that makes you an American, every red-blooded American knows the basic things that we need to uphold. First off, no killing and stealing. Those are our two main laws we uphold. I mean, we can blatantly see that. I mean, if we just use those two things, just that alone, that would keep everybody in check. I don't care if someone's saying, oh, we got to enforce this law, we got to do something, and then they come in with their people doing rambunctious fucking shit up. It's like, whoa. You're getting into killing and stealing, that's where the line stops. That's where you shut your little operation down at. So much as one person dies, that's where you shut the shit off. You're stealing, that's where you shut the shit off, your operation. If your operation is killing and stealing any whatsoever, then it's time to shut it down. But if not, then proceed. Who cares? Not everybody's going to be all happy about your crazy shit you're pulling. But anyways, the people I'm talking to know I'm talking to them, and the people I'm not talking to don't know who the hell I'm talking to. Anyways, this was a really good drink. I'm going to give you another one. Do you want something? Well, too bad. You're in YouTube land. Hang on. This is a homemade energy drink. Great stuff. Anyways, happy 4th of July. As far as I'm concerned, today, maybe the 250th or whatever, but today is the very first 4th of July that is the reclamation of independence of the United States of we the people. Who am I talking about? We the people? We the people who are born on United States soil are native. Period. That's the criteria we use to know if you're one of us. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're from Hawaii. I don't care if you're from China. I don't care if you're from frickin' Russia. I don't care if you're from where them polar bears and penguins are at, or whatever they are. If you were born here on this soil, you are American. Period. You know what's so crazy? It's like these things that people talk about, I don't get caught up in the politicking and all that shit, all that politicking bullshit. I mean, yeah, it's all fun and everything. It's all like junk food. It's like potato chips and candy and pop of the mind. Yeah, it's all fun to indulge in, but boy, after you get a good belly full of that shit, boy, you're going to feel like shit later on in the day, and you're definitely going to feel like shit tomorrow morning when you wake up from indulging in all that. Yeehaw! Anyways, I just thought I'd make a video and just talk about some stuff. There's that one CIA, ex-CIA, Central Intelligence Agency chick that's on YouTube. She's doing real good. What's her name? Eva? She says, shut up and listen to somebody talk, and then they'll give you all the information you need. So I'm giving you all the information you need. Talking just to hear myself here. These videos I do, this is like video journaling. It's like killing two birds with one stone. For one reason is I get to look at myself, my mannerisms, what I'm talking about, how I'm talking about, when I'm talking about it, how it's coming about, what's going on in my life, and how things come out, and what might be driving my conscious mind stemmed out of my subconscious mind at this point. And to be able to measure myself of 2024, 2023, and follow it back several years. And then the other one is to get over my fear of talking on video with people or whatever. It wasn't too long ago, just several years ago. It was like I was so terrified of what people thought of me. It's like it was just freaking amazing. My very first let's see, what was it, like 10 years ago? Like 10 years ago, I think it was, my very first Facebook account, when I first opened that stuff up, I was just so terrified even to voice my opinion on something, how they got, Well, when they first started out, they had the like button, the thumbs up, and the thumbs down or whatever, and the like button and all that stuff. I couldn't leave comments or give a thumbs up or thumbs down or something. I was just so terrified of giving my freaking opinion. And I vaguely knew at that time, it's like something is wrong with me. Why am I so scared? I had no freaking idea. I had no idea at that time. But anyways, you want to do something fun? Okay, you want to do something in my version of fun? Wait right there. Don't go nowhere. Okay, I'm back. All right. This was the very first time analysis I ever did of myself in my entire life. This was back at the end of 2018. See, there was a time where I'd snapped for the first time in my life. It was approximately September 15th, 2017. On that day, that night, I had snapped so profoundly, psychologically, in a way that I had never snapped in my life, ever. And when I snapped in that manner, I made a complete decision to myself in that little bitty church shack outside of Decatur, Arkansas, out there on Milliken's Farms, out there in the frickin' field, in that old, I guess it was an old church or whatever, in that floor with that frickin' mattress on the floor and shit. But anyways, in that building, that night, on that night, I was so disgusted with my life, how my life had been completely ate up with just failure, period. I'm not even going to say drugs and alcohol or nothing like that. I'm just going to say just straight up failure. I had snapped to such a degree to where I made a pact with myself that I either needed to figure out how to fully commit to dying and make that shit happen, or fully commit to living somehow and make it a decent living and be successful and make that happen. And I had to actually think about it. A sane person would think, well, that's easy. I choose living. Do you? But anyways, that night, that freaking night, I had snapped in the most profound way, the most hateful way, the most rigid way, the most vicious way, the most ugly things just come pouring out of me. I mean, just the way thank God it was out in the frickin' boondocks where there wasn't any other human beings to hear all that hate coming out. It's just freaking psycho. Well, I was stomping around back and forth through that building. Crazy, freaking crazy, man. But you know what? I had a pen and paper and I started writing stuff down. And I even got those notes right now. Those very same notes that I wrote up in that building, I still got those notes right now. And in one of those notes, one of those things I started hacking on and have been hacking on almost every single day. I mean, literally every single day for almost 7 years is the true love principle. That's what I've been working on. That and several other things. It's so weird. All this time, it's like all the personal notes I kept to myself that I wasn't going to share with the world. That was like for my own head, for my own head and my own heart. That I wasn't going to share with no fucking body. That it was nobody's goddamn business. It was just my little side notes, my own little project, my own little research. Those things about trust and true love and shit like that. No. It turns out that now that's the stuff I need to be sharing with the world. Not all that other crazy stuff I was chasing in 2019 and 2020, caught up in that hustle and grind culture. I mean, that's fine for all that. But what's driving most of that success? See, there's several underpinning things in a person's heart and mind and their subconscious that'll be driving their success. And there's certain ways, there's certain little things that's going to be popping out. They may be successful, but it's like depending on what's driving that under their subconscious is going to govern whether they're standing in integrity and wholesomeness. And you know, them notes, them papers back in 2017 was one of those things that I was writing about, that I'd written down about all those notes and all those research papers. One of those things was how to be rich and successful without being consumed by either ego or pride or whatever, or being stuck up or being too uppity. You know, all those things that, you know, poor people use to shoot down rich people's lives or whatever. You know, it's like I was going to, part of that mission and part of those questionings were not only was I going to get successful, I even marked out $27.9 million that I was going to have by the end of 2025. That's what I wrote out for myself. That was my mark, a very specific number. $27.9 million is like I looked at that every single day for this past 7 years, every fucking day. Matter of fact, even during that time, I had wrote a check out to myself for $27.9 million for books and products, or value, what I wrote was for useful books and products to humanity, paid to the order of Timothy Daniel Wilson. And I wrote that check and I kept that check with me, and pull that check out and look at it every day, and you know, and it's like, and it's just so wild to think that it's like when you set a mark, when you bury the hatchet. See that old saying, bury the hatchet, is like take a swing at it, boom, bury the hatchet, put a mark there. Okay, now you got a mark to shoot at. It's like so many other things start coming into view. It's so fucking wild, man. So fucking wild. I look at where I started in 2017. I look at that. I had a whole list, like 2 pages of all the things that I wanted to get and when I wanted to get them, and gave a mark, a deadline of the year I was going to get them, all of that stuff, you know, new truck, tools, just crazy stuff. $30,000 Gibson guitar, Songbird 1955 Gibson guitar, you know, stuff like that. I had a mansion picked out over at Grand Lake, Oklahoma. 5-car garage. I can't remember. I had all the specifics written out. How many bedrooms? I actually had the picture of the actual house that I kept in that shack that I lived in Lanigan, in that fallen down house with half the roof frickin' falling in. I had that on the wall there that I would look at every day. When I wake up, I'm looking at that. Every night when I'm writing my journal, I'm looking at that picture and stuff. But anyways, those things. It's like, what's driving your success? What's driving your life? See, we're built out of habits. We got all these little habits, all these little things in our subconscious, below our eyes, all around in our head, that drives our stuff, that comes out our eyes, what we see and what we hear. But anyways, I was wanting to show you this. This was at the end of this was 11/24/18. This was a 16-day or 17-day time used inventory. And this inventory, this was 384 hours analyzed. Analyzed time of about 384 hours, time spent. And this was at that time. But anyways, to get off track, at that time, one of those things I wrote down in that paper, that list of things, and a list of things that were just ridiculous from anyone's point of view. From my point of view, being like jobless and having to be freaking fed and have takeouts like some kind of stray dog on the side of the road, because that's what it's like. But anyways, that and this time uses. Let's take a little look at it. Let's see. Work, 3 hours. Third day, 4 hours. Fifth day, 5 hours. Let's see. Fifth day, 5 hours. Sixth day, 7 hours. Seventh day, 8 hours, 30 minutes. Eighth day, 5 hours, 30 minutes. Ninth day, 10th day, nothing. 11th day, 8 hours, 30 minutes. 12. And then 14, 15, 16, 17 days, nothing on work. This was back when I'd do 1099, do my own work and drum up my own jobs. But anyways, and then I look at sleep, hours of sleep. That first night, 8 hours, 30 minutes. The second night, 8 hours, third night, 6 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 30 minutes, 7 hours, 26 minutes, 6 hours, 3 minutes, 8 hours, 7 hours, 20 minutes. But anyways, you see this. And this is something that at that time, I knew sleep was a big thing. And it's like, and I do that on purpose because throughout my years, sleep, many times I'd wreck my sleep for years in a row. You go 13 years in a row jacking with upper type products, yeah, you're going to have sleep issues. But anyways, and then this other one, this falls into this category of talking with people, visiting with people, going to the bank, driving, grocery shopping, baths, naps, cooking, eating, play, relaxation. And of course, you know, this is the more laid out thing. If you would have seen the actual thing, I could have showed you the exact amount of you know, time talking. Like when somebody would talk to me, I would hit the timer in my pocket or on my watch, and I'd start timing it. How much I talked. Was it 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes? What we talked about, was it worth listening to them? Was it worth me talking? But anyways, all of that. Okay, all of that combined. Let's see, on that first day, all that combined total up to 1 hour 46 minutes. Second day, 2 hours 32 minutes. Third day, 4 hours 33 minutes. But anyways, you go on to this, and like even on that ninth day, there was 11 hours and 7 minutes of that shit. It's like, what the fuck? Okay, and here's a good one. Now here, self-development. People will be like, well, I ain't got time for self-development. I got to work. Well, you don't have my life. You don't have my responsibilities. You don't have my kids. You don't have this. You don't have that. Sure, I'll give you that. Anyways, self-development. Oh yeah, you can keep those excuses. Oh, I mean reasons. They're not excuses. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I have no idea what the difference is between a reason or an excuse. Craziness, man. Okay, self-development. That first day, 6 hours, 30 minutes. Second day, 6 hours, 50 minutes. Third day, 5 hours, 57 minutes. Fourth day, 7 hours, 10 minutes. Fifth day, 6 hours, 10 minutes. Sixth day, 1 hour, 14 minutes. Seventh day, 25 minutes. Eighth day, 1 hour, 26 minutes. Ninth day, 3 hours, 55 minutes. 10th day, 3 hours, 37 minutes. 11th day, 2 hours, 15 minutes. See that how it goes? See how there's some 7 hours, 6 hours, 5 hours? See, it's because I started learning right away. Incorporate your self-development with what you're already doing. Since you ain't got time to do what you want to do, somehow incorporate what you need to do with what you're already doing. See, if you ain't got time to do your shit or to do what you want to do, then blend them together. Anyways, Now let's look at some more shit. TV watching, coffee drinking, and smoking cigarettes, and just wasted time. First day, 1 hour of that shit. And see these times that on this wasting, and this was after 2018. This was trying to really trim it down, and it was still really pissing me off because I was still watching TV, still be smoking cigarettes, and just la-di-da-di-da, wasting time, and it was really pissing me off. But I'd mark it down, like when I smoke a cigarette, I hit the timer, bam, start timing it. Average cigarettes 5 to 7 minutes. Think about how many cigarettes, or you know, where you got to stop and smoke a cigarette, or you're smoking a cigarette while you're doing whatever. Trust me, it's taking focus. But anyways, besides all that TV watching and stuff like that, am I against TV or smoking? No, I'm not. I'm talking about time. Time. Okay, second day, 56 minutes total time wasted. That would include drinking coffee, smoking cigarettes, TV, or just flat out wasted time talking bullshit, you know, just playing. And yeah, we need play. We need play in all we do. But when a person goes days, weeks, months without considering trying to make their life better or the world a better place, or trying to develop their lives and their children's lives and their families' lives, then that's straight up waste. Third day, 1 hour, 42 minutes waste. Fourth day, 1 hour, 23 minutes waste. Fifth day, 1 hour, 3 minutes waste. And I look at all these waste, and it's like, in that 2 weeks' time, in 2 days' time, 16 hours, 23 minutes straight up waste. See, if that would have been a whole month, that would have still been almost 34 hours of straight up waste. At that time, that was the first year. See, back in 2017, when I finally snapped, it's September 15th, 2017, when I freaking snapped and got that pen to the paper, I marked out a mission and a purpose to live my life by. And that's something I wouldn't share with anybody. Matter of fact, I prayed my last prayer to God. That was the last time I truly prayed. That was my last one. And what I told God, I meant it with my whole heart, mind, body, and soul. And what I talked to God about that day, that is between me and God, the spirit of the universe, whatever. I'll take that to the grave with me. My grandchildren don't even get to hear that, nor anyone else that is alive in my circle. Anyways, back to this. So we look at self-development. During that time, that was actually 60 hours and 28 minutes of self-development. Good fucking job. That's being on the right track. All right. Look at all this bullshit of, see, I mean, you can't avoid taking baths or eating food, but you can avoid like having to cook, having to get groceries, having to go to the bank and driving here, driving there, doing nonsense talking. But sometimes you need nonsense talking because that's where you can find a lot of sense. But anyways, play and relaxation, those are must. But those other things, they can be outsourced. Or you can kind of bribe someone to do it around you. And that'll help save time. Because it's that time. Lifting the burden off your mind and emotions. That sleep, 117 hours sleep, 51 minutes. See, that's a real... See, that's a what do you call it? Undeveloped real estate of the human psyche that most people don't even realize. See, while you're sleeping, you can be reprogramming your mind, your subconscious mind. Repetition, 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 repetition. You know, they say hypnosis and stuff like that. You know, there is a kind of thing like mass hypnosis, you know, that some motivational people do. And it seems really good at first, but it doesn't keep people constantly motivated. You have to come back and hitting the feeder. But anyways, that goes into another thing about motivation and inspiration and the difference of those two and what's driving those two, what's under the hood. So look at this work. See this work here? This is basically grunt work, and it could be skilled work, it could be masonry, freaking carpentry, or whatever, you know, just basic shit. And that's what I was doing during this time, you know, just picking up little odd jobs here just to pay the bills. See, working just to pay the bills, those kind of works are okay, but those are more of kids' jobs. Those are starters' jobs. I think when a person gets in their, starts getting up in their 30s, they need to be transitioning out of that than getting into a higher order of things. And most people do not. Most people do not. They stay in that work thing all their lives until they freaking die. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that if they got things driving their heart and mind. If they got a strong enough reason of why they're doing it and how it pertains to the greater whole and the community abroad and how it ties into the rest of everything, then that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But without considering the past couple, 3, 4, 5, 6 generations before us, without considering who we are right now and where we've been and what the future could be of the next couple, 3 or 4 generations, without considering all that, without considering the past like that and the future like that, then wind up wasting all this time right here in the middle. That just cannot be. That cannot be. That should not be allowed. But yet somehow it's an option. And you know, at this point, you know what I found? And what I honestly, truly believe, without a shadow of a doubt, think about all the things that cause failure in the human psyche. Post-traumatic stress disorders, depression, emotional immaturities, abandonment issues. Those are the 4 cornerstones of all psychological disorders. And then the 4 horsemen that perpetuate that shit and keep those wounds going long after the wounds have already healed, and keep those wounds open, or not healed, but keeps them from healing, and keeps them open and keeps those wounds going. Of those 4 corners, or what are they? They're fear, self-seeking, self-pity, and I'm drawing a blank on the other. Oh my God, they use it in AA all the time. Let's see, what is it? Fear? Oh, self-delusion. Fear, self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity. Those 4 rascals right there perpetuate that other shit and keep it going endlessly. And it just looks like thousands and thousands and thousands. It's like a person can spend a fucking lifetime fighting the symptoms of that shit and never getting out of the loop and just being caught in that loop. You know, a lot of people say, well, it's the big pharma that wants to keep people dumbed down. Well, it's, you know, maybe some of them have got tired of people's bullshit and have not figured out how to get past those things to truly help them. And they say, fuck it. Fuck it. If they want to be that way, fuck it. Let's help them be that way. Because that's what happens. People get tired, they get frustrated. It's like the very people they're trying to help are turning on them and constantly talking shit about them. And it's like, eventually they're like, you know what, fuck it, fuck it, fuck it. So, we don't want to be like that. That's not what we want to do. But that's what we are right now. So anyways, what do I think the main problem is? Here is the main seed. No, and don't, before I even say it, don't say, well, there's genetics, or there's, you know, there's true brain cancer and stuff like that. There's, besides those things. No, I'm talking about ways of thinking and ways of being. The one seed, failure's seed in the human psyche. There's only one. But that sucker starts growing there, A person will spend a person can spend their entire life trying to figure out what the fuck it is. They'll spend their entire life hacking away at all the symptoms, trying to figure out what the source is when they're really just hacking at the symptoms. What's the source? Unforgiveness, grudges, resentments. That's it. That's it. That's where all that shit stems from. And a person could say, well, it's like, what about post-traumatic stress disorders? What about emotional immaturities? What about depression? What about abandonment issues? Unforgiveness. That's the seed. And why would I say it's unforgiveness? Because here's what it comes down to. Our mind, the human psyche, something that drives us. There's a spirit. There's a spirit of everything. The spirit of the universe that tries to live through us. It doesn't know no failure. It knows no failure. It really doesn't know success either. The only thing it knows is advancement and expansion and constant building and striving to grow and develop. Where there is no step to be taken, it will make a step. Where there is no bridge to get across, it will make a bridge. I'm sure there's other analogies, but I can't think of any right offhand. But anyways, that spirit inside of us, it doesn't know the fact, it will not, that spirit does not put up with, okay, it's impossible, that's all there is to it. No, that spirit requires, through our human psyche, that we find a way to make things work, to put things in perspective. Yeah, there you go. To put things in perspective, because when we don't put things in perspective, then it has the illusion of meaningless. See, that's another thing too. The spirit requires of us to put meaning to things, put meaning and purpose into things, and if there's things going on in our life that don't have meaning and purpose, like if you look at this time analysis, how much of this stuff is things that don't have meaning and don't have purpose? See, we're supposed to be growing and developing our lives in heart, mind, body, and soul in all areas. Am I saying that, well, that's crazy, because it's like once you grow up, that's it. I mean, it's like, no. No, yeah, it's a constant growing and dying. It's like we can't just stop at one spot. Check out this nightmare I've had throughout my years. Throughout my life, I've had this reoccurring nightmare where I'd be in this nightmare where it would look like there were people, but as soon as I got close enough to them, they weren't people at all. They were terrors. And what I mean by terrors, like tear, like tear a piece of paper, that kind of terrors. And they were so strong, if they got their hands on you, they could just rip your arms off. They put their hands on you, they could rip patches of meat off of you. And it's like that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to rip you apart. And in this dream, it's like they are too freaking strong. You can't punch them, you can't kick them. None of that shit ain't gonna work on them. They are just too freaking powerful. They're like some kind of demons or something. That's their job, is to tear you apart. That's why they're called terrors. And in this dream, the only thing you can do is move at 1,000 miles an hour and freaking knock them off balance, freaking push. I mean, just stick your fingers in their eyes, push them away, push them by their heads, trip their feet. I mean, just do whatever and just move at 1,000 miles an hour to knock them down, get away, and run as fast as you can. And that's a dream that I've had reoccurring throughout my life for years and years. And that dream would be so intense. It's like sometimes when I'd have that dream, I'd wake up and I'd sit up in bed and I'd be like, oh, thank God, it was only a dream. And sometimes there had been a couple of times I'd had that dream where it's like my body was actually sore, physically sore in my body for real, here in the conscious realm, from having those fights in those dreams. There's been a couple of those dreams. They were so intense. It was like hell. Like I remember one time it was like I was on like in pure blackness. There was no stars, no sun, no nothing. But there was like a round platform, like, and it's like and you could feel it with your feet, and then you could feel the edges of it. And it's like, but you know that it's like there's no bottom. You fall off that sucker, it's over. It's like you got to stay on that little circle. But in this dream, it's like it was so terrifying because it was pitch dark. It's like they come climbing up on there, and it's like you can feel them, and it's like you try to stay centered, try to make sure you stay as close to the center as possible, and move at 1,000 million miles an hour to knock them some bitches off the platform. And do not let them get a hand on you, because if they get a hand on you, they're going to rip you apart. But anyways, it's like when you have a dream like that, and it's just you're fighting them over and over and over and over and over. And it's like you're just freaking wore out. When you wake up, it's like, oh, thank God. It's like, oh, thank you. It was only a dream. I remember one time I had a dream like it was about the terrors. It wasn't like the platform one. That's one of the worst ones. I think I only had that one like twice in my life. But man, those were bad, real bad. But anyways, I had the dream where I was like walking through this neighborhood. There's no sun. There's no sky. There's no moon. It's not night or day. It's just light to where you could see. And you could see all these neighborhoods and everything. But there was no cars. There was no people in the stores. There were no people in the houses. It was all completely empty. And in this dream, I'd be walking around for like days and days and days thinking, man, I'd like to see another human being. It'd be so nice just to see one human being. And in this dream, then it's like, I see a house way up on the distance. It looks like there's lights on. So you take off running and you're just so happy because you know there's going to be a human in there. And you get all the way up there and it turns out it wasn't. And then you look down the street and then here comes a couple of them. They look like people, but they're not humans. They're the fucking terrors. And then you take off running again, son of a bitch. But anyways, outside of all those crazy dreams, I have not had that crazy dream since that year of 2017. I've never had that dream anymore. Once I decided that I was going to figure out how to live my life and live it successfully somehow, some way, no matter what or no matter how long it takes, that I would be the master of my own life and master it somehow and master my own mind, whatever it was, ever since then, since then, at the end of 2017, since 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, I have never had that dream ever again. Pretty cool, right? But anyways, that's one of those crazy recurring dreams that I've had throughout my life. But you know what? The flying dreams. The flying dreams. You ever have flying dreams? What kind of flying dreams have you had? Do you mark them down? Do you write about them in your journal? Those flying dreams? What kind of flying? Were you flying like a bird? Were you inside a bird, or were you flying as your body? Or what was going on? And what was your mindsets inside of it? And was you conscious that you knew that you were in a dream when you were flying? Do you know we've been talking for 54 minutes and 39 seconds and we ain't said a goddamn thing. Pretty awesome, right? Pretty awesome. Anyways, since I'm actually getting bored of hearing myself talk. Hang on. You want to see something else cool? I'll be right back. Here's another time journal, but this time journal was a 90-day analysis. 90 freaking days. That was 90 days of, I didn't even write the thing. Average 3 to 4 hours, perfect power. Upon awakening. Yeah, this was at the end of, let's see, 8/12/2002, August is when it started. Friday morning after work. 5 to 5:40 a.m. leaving Southwest City, drive to Decatur, Arkansas, 5:40 to 6:30 a.m. doing bills to pay. See, I mean, and in this analysis, I'm talking every freaking hour. Well, just like that one, same thing. The only difference is this one was 2 years later from this one. And I didn't figure out how to quit smoking yet. This was before this. But anyways, this whole thing goes through this. All this, I mean, it included drinking alcohol. Yeah, and it's like looking at that stuff and everything. Yeah. It's craziness. And even though I still had the alcohol and the cigarettes kicking my ass and all those delusions and couldn't figure my way out of the self-pity and couldn't figure out what the hell was actually excuses or reasons. And going through all this analysis right here and getting into the end of that and learning a little bit about myself. You know, I keep seeing this thing on YouTube, depending on who you're hanging around with, because our minds give off energies. There's like an energy field around our body and our minds and our thinking. And depending on how strong those beliefs are, those people, you know, they affect you. Like say if you got 1,000 people standing before you that have the exact opposite of your thinking, and you're one person with your little mind, are you going to say that, you know what I'm fixing to do, don't you? Are you going to be the person that says, that they affect you, that they will overcome you, that they will ruin everything that you're doing? And the fact is yeah, people can do that unless you find that place. At this point, after 7 years of doing a specific mission every single day and a specific purpose every single day for a year, and doing these things like this and these types of self-development, you add up these hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and these pens and papers and these theories and these psychological theories of the human psyche, mine in particular, or the psyche of man. And you look at all that and you realize, and you look at all the starting point. I look at the starting point all the way from to the beginning of 2018, because that's where it really started kicking in. Because see, 2018, that whole year was surveying what I wanted. And then 19, 20, 21, those 3 years was being caught up in that hustle and grind culture. Because at that time, I didn't fully see what was prompting me or pushing me through my subconscious. But yet I was searching and trying to find and develop the ways and means of how to identify those things in my subconscious and try to identify what they were and when they came in and when they started and what they were stemmed from. Because see, there's the kind that stems from like a post-traumatic stress disorder. That's like a single moment in time. There's that. And then there's the kind where it's kind of like a post-traumatic stress disorder, but it's more of like, it's a constant ongoing thing that causes the harm. It's the day after day after day after day bullshit of being caught up in God knows what, whatever, in those habits. And then those coping mechanisms to cover up those things. It's like double whammy, double checkmate. It's like, son of a bitch. And then it's like to go through that whole loop. 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, bam, come right back to the very freaking beginning. It was a damn loop. It just made a damn circle. It's like, what the hell? And to realize, back then when I started out thinking I got to do this and be that and all that, everything, and try to figure out how to get through these doors or whatever, you know, it's all hinged on all external things mostly, and I didn't realize I was doing that. But I vaguely knew that I was doing that. Because you see, it comes from the inside. See, like, say if I wanted to go over here to this one certain business or whatever, and I wanted to purchase that business, and yet not even be caught up on simple IRS bills or be good at being poor or handling money in a small way. So that belief, if you got that kind of belief and you can cultivate that kind of belief, and you can forget all that other stuff and say, you know what? All that programming of, you know, being good at saving money or building the credit score up and shit like that, you know, being good at being poor. I'm not going to try to reprogram that in my mind. I'm just going to let that fall away and use that as fertilizer for something else. Because you know why? I believe at this point where we're at, we're coming up onto a new human evolution, a new phase of evolving, a new type of humanoid species is what we're coming up into. I could be wrong, but I could be right. Could be some of both. You know what, these kind of talks, you know, I think talking at certain times, like when you've had, let's see, did your whole day, you've already burned off your creative power in your mind, and you've did the mundane, you know, the physical works and stuff like that, and then you finish off and you want to make a video and you're 1 hour and 3 minutes and 21 minutes into it, and you've never really said anything. You've touched on a bunch of subjects and you've opened up all these things, but see, that's how some people talk. That's how some people communicate. That's a feminine energy. That's how a lot of women need to talk. That's how they need to communicate. The more they're forced to have to make the script, have to have the content, have to do this, have to do that, has to be organized, has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and has to be all in their analytical mind. That's hard on them. Damn, that's rough. But you know, it's hard on us to have to listen to that too. What were we talking about? What was the point of making this video? Just so I could talk about something, so I could gain validation or gain acceptance? It's so freaking mind-blowing. But you know what? I like what Mike Tyson says, because I believe it's true. Because like right now, it's like I've gotten so comfortable with making these videos and stuff like that and talking to this camera that, you know, it's like Now, I feel like I could do the same talking to a live person that I don't even know, which is possible, but it's probably wrong. That's like all the stuff I know and the beliefs that I think that I built, that I've gone day after day after day, building these micro habits and keeping track of it and keeping the data on them and doing them daily, several hundred days in a row, a few thousand days in a row, consistently, every day, no days off, to shape my mind a certain way, to shape my heart a certain way, to where I know the outcome is going to be predictable, to where I know that my subconscious has got me. See, if our subconscious can get programmed a certain way to where it works against us and hinders us, then shouldn't it be true the other way if you program it like the other way to where it's going to do you good? But, there's a lot of things up for debate about that. They say, no, once that subconscious is formed, it's like if you had a bad get-go starting off, you're pretty much stuck with that. And you pretty much need to figure out what you can be useful at and then capitalize on that and focus on that and tie that into a greater good somehow. Because you'll just work your ass off trying to fix the wrong or to fix the hindered beliefs and shit, which I think there's some truth in both. Tonight is 4th of July, and I could have went to do a family event and community event, and of course it would have been a big party and everything, and it's all fun and great, and a bunch of ass grabbing and everything. But I literally chose to have some solitude, to go running, come back from running, come here to the apartment, have this quiet time in here. There's no one in here, no sounds. And to go through my notes and to make this video with you all. And there's nothing wrong with it. No, other people may say, oh, that's wrong. That's isolation. Oh, that's unhealthy. That's bad. Yeah. No, you should be out there with everybody else. What's wrong with you? You need to do what everyone else is doing, or you're different and weird. Court is adjourned. Anyways, that concludes this talk of etc., la-di-da-di-da. Like I said, happy Independence Day. Even wore my happy trucker flag thing hat today. Anyways, this video, I would say I hope someone got something out of this video that's helpful to them, but that's not my purpose on these videos. These videos are just to just do it, to just get it out there, just do it. And it was so cool too, because I'll tell you, the person, I can't remember her name. Damn, I see her face and everything. She's a YouTube person, and she was talking about making content and stuff like that, and the way she said it, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And after I got done seeing that video, I literally jumped on the freaking phone and made my first and made a YouTube account and made my first video. But it was just the way she said it. It made it okay. I can't remember exactly how it was, and I can't remember her name. But anyways, I got it in my subscribed people. But anyways, yeah, the goal was just get content out there. Just put it out there. Sucky, shitty visuals, shitty surroundings, whatever. Doesn't matter. Good, bad, ugly, makes sense, doesn't make sense, directed, not directed, intentional, not intentional. Well, no, you got to have intention. That's where we draw the line right there. No, but it's like no shit. It's like, because I've done some videos, but I never put them nowhere where anybody could see them. And I did start doing some videos like on Facebook before I left Facebook world. But that was kind of different. That was a good research, and that was an intentional research. But then I quit that Facebook thing and shut that off for the past year or so, as along with shutting TV off for the past 7 years. But that Just get some content out there. Just start doing it. Just start doing it and see what you see. See what comes up. See what comes out. See what comes out of you. See what comes out whenever you're making a video after you've had a long day or a long shitty day. See how your content comes out. Do it when you wake up in the morning. Do it at lunch. Do it at night before bed. Do it on a weekday. Do it on a weekend. Do it on a holiday. See what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Just get it out there. Just get it out there. Get comfortable with seeing yourself. See, we can see ourselves. We can look in the mirror. We got that. We got that down packed, don't we? But to look at ourselves, to really look, and to see our mannerisms, our facial expressions, our bodily movements, our clothes we're wearing, where we're doing, what we're at, our tone of voice, what we're going through, all that stuff. See, it's more beneficial to the person making the video. It's more beneficial to the giver. It's more about the person making the video. It's not about getting a million bazillion followers or whatever or monetizing. I mean, yeah, that's kind of part of the goal, but not for me. It's not even remotely. I don't care about none of that stuff. What I do care about is our children's children. That's what I do care about. The future of the United States, the future of this continent. That's what I do care about. So anyways, we're at 1 hour, 11 minutes, 55 seconds. I'm thirsty. I'm ready to eat. And no one has done dishes. Trash was taken out because I did. See these things, having to do dishes, take out trash and shit, wash your own clothes. That burns mind and emotion, fuel, like gas or, fuel, like wood in a fire is fuel to make the fire go or whatever, We're burning that shit off. But you know what? Here's something that really, really gets me. And this is me, you, everyone. We're all like this. When you first wake up, that first couple hours after waking up, your mind is fresh. It's very fresh. It's malleable. And in that time, that is creative time. That's where you can create things. That's where your imagination is best. But you know what? Most of us don't. We'll go our whole lives and never even know that's even there. It could be a little bit different from person to person. Let's say that. Let's say it's at lunch or that hour after lunch is their power creative time. But no, I'm talking about the creative time. Or some people call it the muse or whatever. You got this certain time or whatever you do. My muse is when I wake up, when I'm fresh. That first, it could be 1 hour, it could be 2 hours, it could be 3 hours. It may last 4 hours, but I've never seen it go past that. But it's that creative time. That's where you can create valuable content. That's where you can see things you've never seen before. That's where you can think of ways you never thought before. That's where you can figure out how to do what you've never done before. And I know this for a fact because I've been working on this. I think it was 2023. It was 2023. I'd have to look in my journals, but it hit me so profoundly. I think it was, what's her name? I want to say Julia Cameron. Not Julia Cameron. What the hell? It was something about creative thinking or whatever. I think it may have been 2020. But it's like she was talking about that creative mind or that intuition that we all have and tapping into that. And, and then I hear other people, who are writers or whatever, good content makers or successful people, they talk about that muse, that thing. See, most of us, we go our whole lives and we never realize we have a streak of genius in us. It's an intuition thing. It's the spirit of the universe. It's a place and time where the spirit of the universe, the genius, will actually try to express itself through us, and then we can actually figure out what it's trying to be and help it be that. And then we get to take credit for that as if we did it. It's pretty badass, right? But anyways, that, most of us, we go our whole lives and we don't even know we have that. It's the most valuable thing ever. It's beyond it. You know, right now, as we sit here, you know, I'm talking to you like I'm sitting up on top of billions and billions of dollars. Because I am. And so are you. The only difference is a cultivated mindset to where it's like I'm looking through it through this certain lens. A person could look at me through their lens and they'd be like, you're living in a little rinky-dink apartment. You got roommates. Y'all are working regular jobs. Well, one of them has a skilled job. The others, let's say you're behind on IRS. You've got a couple of high-interest debts you're paying on that's killing your paychecks. You're living paycheck to paycheck. But yet you're going to stand there and tell me you're thinking like a billionaire? And I'll be like, maybe. Maybe. So, anyways, so if I had to wrap this thing up, I got just the thing for you. Wait right here. Let's see, let me pick a good one. Okay, we'll call this National Prayer number 2, titled Sovereign Oneness. The Father and I are one. May all I be, do, and have reflect the wholeness of the sacred bond that we, the people, and the Father are one. Amen. There's one prayer for you. Let's think of another one. Here's one for you. Here's this one doesn't have a title to it. This is kind of like my personal fave. The Father and I are one. May all I be, do, and have reflect this sacred bond that we, the people, and the Father God are one. So this life I build is the work of our oneness. Amen. So there you go. Be the sovereign nation that we profess to be. Be sovereign, my friend. Be sovereign. And if you don't know what sovereign is, look it up. So anyways, happy 4th of July. See you in the funny papers. 1 hour, 13 minutes. Damn, that's a lot of lottie-dottie-da, etc., etc. That's probably the longest one so far. But anyways, I probably won't even watch this thing. I will eventually, probably. Maybe not. I'll watch some of it. Usually I'll make these videos and then I'll rewatch them and then kind of see what I gather from them or whatever, you know. But there's a few of them that I haven't. But there's one I made for the future me. I think it was 2030 me from 5 years from now that I will watch 5 years from now. Oh, that's another thing. You should write a note to yourself. The future you. Make it 5 years out or 10 years out. Or here's another fun thing. in one of the books that you keep or whatever, write a note to your future self, as if your future self is so different and so much highly evolved than the present you that you have to write a letter to them as if you're talking up to them, not talking up to them, but you see what I'm saying. I think you get the gist of it. Write that letter, put it in a book somewhere, forget about it, and then find it somewhere in time. You may find it in a couple months, you may find it in a couple years, you may find it in several years, you may never find it. You may forget you ever did it. But anyways, that's one thing. Make a video, which I'm ready for 2030 to see what I made, because I did not rewatch that video. All I know is I tried to talk to myself as if I was talking to the me that has achieved everything that I've set out to do, all my missions, goals, and purposes, and all my dreams and visions in that area that I shared in that little video, because I knew it would be public, so I didn't go into too much detail, but enough to where I'm talking to my future self, the 2030 me. So maybe on this 4th of July, this is your call to action. Write a letter to yourself of the future. Something pertaining to our sovereignty, our oneness of sovereignty with the spirit of the universe or God, and the peaceable people that we try to be and that we're striving to be. Not sheeple, not the kind that you can just shit on and get away with it. Not those kind of people. Those are not what we want to be cultured into. And we got too many of those. No, I'm talking about being peaceable in ways that's respectable and to be honorable. It's like, what's honorable? It's like, you're going to have to start looking these things up. What's integrity? You're going to have to look it up. You're going to have to dig deep. And then once you get all the definitions to those, dig even deeper to find out what other meanings it could have to it. See, just don't go by what the dictionary tells you it is. Dig even deeper. Deeper meaning. Overthink it. Do overthink it. It's so crazy. So freaking crazy. It's freaking mind blowing. You know, we would think you would think the biggest problem of trying to figure out how to be a successful person is how to deal with failure and how to be resilient. Yeah, that's a lot of it. But you know what the biggest part of it is? The biggest part is accepting the fact that you can walk straight through the doors that they open for you. That's the hardest part. And walk straight up in there. That's the hardest part. The hardest part is accepting it. It's accepting the fact that you're already worthy and already can. See, that's trippy. That's real trippy. You know what? You know what I think at this point? It's like, if you expect to be rich, open up a bunch of different bank accounts if possible. They don't even have to have any money in them. Just a couple of cents in them here and there. Just open up a bunch of them. Like in the Bible, there's this story where it's like they were caught up in this drought and they were like pinned in this little area and they couldn't go to the north or east or west or south because, you know, there were already people in them lands that would kick their ass or whatever, so they had to stay stuck in there in that little area. And then it's like, well, somehow their leader got some crazy vision from God that they needed to dig all these trenches and dig all these ponds and make all these places to be filled with water. Then they're like, are you fucking psycho? We ain't had rain in umpteen years. You're smoking crack, boy. You're fucking plumb ate the fuck up. You want us to dig all these trenches. You want me to dig a trench that's a 1/4 mile long with a pick and a shovel and me and my boys? Then you want me to make all these big ponds over here? And then make all these other ponds over here? Are you fucking high? Where are we going to get the water for this? But anyways, the Spirit told him, it's like, dig the trenches first. Prepare to receive first. See, that's it. That's the master key. Prepare to receive. Prepare to receive. No, don't look at the getting. Okay, you'll say you have a grand vision. Mark out a grand vision. All right, here it is. Okay, there's that one. All right, so you have that grand vision. You want to get everything you can to prepare to receive that. See, that's it. That's the key. That's the one thing I missed this whole 7 years until now. It's freaking mind-blowing. It's like you prepare to receive. It's like, are you fucking shitting me? Okay. Maybe I shouldn't use potty mouth. That's very unprofessional. But you know what? Prepare to receive. It does something to you psychologically. It does something to the spirit of the universe. It's like the spirit of the universe is like, oh shit, I'm lagging. See? The spirit of the universe will not put up with that. See, the spirit of the universe is a spirit of faith. It makes things out of nothing. You see? It's constantly moving. And it's like when we do that, I think when we set ourselves up, prepare to receive what we want, our grand vision, our dream. Once we prepare to receive it, what it's like, see, that should be the work right there. It's like, get the pen and paper, write out. It's like, what do I need? What do I need to receive X, X, Y? Okay, what all do I need to have so that I can have that? And start working on all that stuff. Not working on how to get that stuff. Just work on how to receive that stuff. Trippy shit, right? All right, that's enough talking. See you in the funny papers.